She had a huge bounce back performance on Saturday in Washington, D.C. She defeated Yana Kunitskaya, the third round of their fight. Just 33 seconds into that third round, all the critics, all the haters, all the naysayers, they could take a hike. Aspen Ladd is back. She joins us on the program right now. Aspen, how are you? And congratulations on the win.
I'm doing fantastic, and thank you very much.
Does it feel like maybe some weight has been lifted off your shoulders, a bit of pressure after all the stuff that happened in July?
Absolutely. I mean, it kind of feels like that after every fight. It's a huge relief because every single thing in your life is geared towards what you're about to do and get the fight, get there, perform all that. So afterwards, it's relieving regardless, but after that, it's even more so.
Considering how that fight went back in July and then all the talk about the weight cut and everything, were you doubting yourself at all going into this one? Did you feel a little more anxious, a little more nervous compared to some of your other fights? You know, prior to that, of course, you were undefeated. So was there a difference in how you felt going into it on Saturday?
No, honestly, this was probably one of the most relaxed ones I've had. I had a lot of notification on this fight. I knew these probably over 3 months ago. I knew it was going to happen, when it was going to happen, all that. So I had a lot of preparation time, and I felt very ready to go. So I was relaxed. I felt good.
Why do you think you were more relaxed than usual, considering the stakes?
The amount of preparation and just knowing that we were ready and the excitement. I mean, coming off of a loss, coming anytime you're excited to fight, but coming off of a loss, you have something even more so to prove. But there's a level of excitement there to get back and show why you're here and why you deserve to be there. So I was just excited, happy, ready to go.
How was this weight cut?
This is one of the easier ones that I've had, actually. It was good, healthy. So I've been dieting again for over 12 weeks. Got very, very low and felt good.
And was there any consideration to fighting at 145 after what happened in July?
Of course, there's always been though, but it's like a perfect fight kind of thing. If the right fight comes up at 45, I'm completely game to take it. But I am a 35er, so it was definitely have to clear that CSAC thing up because I want to be able to fight in this weight class, but have the opportunity to fight at 45 if I wish to as well, not just because I have to.
Okay. And so now, considering how this one went, is it safe to assume that you are going to stick around at 135 for the foreseeable future?
Yes, it's the weight class where you have more opportunity, I believe, at this moment. There's not really too much of a 145 weight class. But at the same time, the perfect fight, short notice fight, whatever, I would be glad to take one at 45 eventually.
Okay. And by the way, do you mind just tilting up the camera a little bit? We see like sort of half your face at a time. There we go. We want to see the cool hair. You kept the braids in. You didn't take them out yet.
I love them. They're awesome.
Yes, they are. How long do you usually keep the braids in after your fight?
It depends. Sometimes only a day, sometimes a couple. Depends on how long I could take it. I got kind of a sissy head as far as tenderness kind of thing.
Okay. And so that fight was so interesting because first two rounds, go as they go, and then there's that moment in between the second and third where a fire is lit under you, and then you come out like a completely different fight, bat out of the hell, and you drop her early, and then you eventually finish her in that third round. What was going through your mind in the first and second? Why did it seem like your coaches were not happy with you in those first two rounds? Maybe not pulling the trigger as aggressive as they wanted. It seemed like going into that third, they really felt like they had to kind of fire you up, get you excited. Why do you think that happened in the first and second round?
Absolutely. I think it's just any fight going into the third round, it's very likely you're about to come up on a decision. And if you leave that to the judges, it doesn't matter. You can have something where it might not necessarily should go that way, whether you think you won or you didn't. So there's always a sense of urgency when you're coming into the third and last round. That's the last time you have to prove yourself, basically. So their urgency was, who knows, after a couple close rounds, you better get out there and really put an exclamation mark on this one. And I got chewed out pretty good and went out and listened.
Yeah, and you got chewed out by your coach Jim West, who was really aggressive as far as telling you what he wanted to see out of you, and it wasn't maybe the most technical advice, but it seemed like the right kind of advice for that moment. Does he usually do that? That clip has now gone viral somewhat. Does he usually speak to you like that in between rounds?
Usually it's a little bit more technical than that, but at the same time, that one was a little more urgent. Third round, coming into the end, he really wanted to make sure we do everything that we possibly could to finish the fight and make sure we weren't going to leave it in the hands of the judges. So that was just more get on it as opposed to technical advice.
Right. And does he usually speak in that kind of tone, or did you realize with the tone and the different kind of advice that it was time to get going?
There's certainly a lot of urgency as far as that particular clip goes. That one had more than the usual.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly normal, but it wasn't out of place for fight night. That's tense time.
Okay. Are you like reacting to this in your mind like, "Oh man, he's not too happy right now." I get like do you remember having an internal dialogue as you get up off the stool and they're about to start the third round? Are you telling yourself like, "I need to get going right now"? Or do you remember talking to yourself?
Oh yeah, it's like, oh shoot, if they're this word, like you gotta go now. Who knows what's happened with the other two rounds, and who knows with the judging? I mean, that night there's two draws for crying out loud, which is not really it's not normal,
Yeah.
and you never know what judges peer. I felt like I was doing fairly well, but I don't know. It's like if it's going to a decision, I want to make sure I'm doing everything that I can, absolutely everything to make sure it's not going to go the other way, you know.
Mhm.
But when there's that kind of level of urgency, in the voice like, oh gosh, I gotta do something now.
Who do you want next?
Everybody asked that. Everybody's at a dance partner right now, and then obviously we got the title fight this weekend, which I will be watching and enjoying from the couch somewhere. And we'll see. We'll see after Christmas, after everything. We'll see what the UFC wants to do with me.
Do you think Germaine has a shot against Amanda this weekend?
I do. I think a lot of people discredit her or don't really consider or remember exactly who she is and how good she is at what she does. She is an expert craftsman, basically in her striking and everything. She's very good, very skilled, and well, they both are. So it'll be a good fight. But I don't think you should ever count anybody out, especially her.
Right. And it's a great story, especially considering she was the 145 champion and had to give up the title. And now she's getting another crack against someone she lost. So it's a wonderful story. And I think that you're certainly in the mix. Maybe one or two fights and you're right back in that spot. And it seems interesting because like this time last year, I feel like a lot of people were pointing to you as maybe being a champion by the end of this year. When you look back at this past year, and there was that talk of you fighting maybe Holly Holm and all the stuff that happened at the beginning. When you look back at 2019, what are the feelings that you have about this past year? Does it feel like you didn't accomplish your goals? Are you content with it? How do you feel about it?
I am extremely happy with it. My only goal at the beginning of the year, honestly, was to fight 3 or 4 times. Fought 3 times. Headlined a card for the first time ever. Didn't go my way. Came back from it. Had an excellent showing this past weekend. So, I mean, there's ups and downs. I learned some stuff. It was a successful year from my point of view.
Okay, I like that approach. And even after the first loss, you weren't down too much. Did you need some time away, or did you get right back on the horse?
Not at all. I try to take it a very. I don't want to be a head case, for example, and I don't need to be. You'll win some, you'll lose some. This is a tough sport. We're all at the top of our game. You get to the UFC, it's hard. Staying there is harder. And the better you do, the better the competition. So it's just part of it. If you can't take a loss and come back and perform, that really doesn't say too much about your mental state and ability to keep going.
Hmm.
Things happen. You got to bounce back and come back and do better.
I respect it. In fact, I think that on our list we did, I don't know if you saw this, we had a top 25 under 25 fighters in the sport right now. You clocked in at number 4. I have a feeling if we would have done that before the GDR fight, you might have been number 1, so maybe something to strive for. But did you know that? Did you know that you were number 4 on our list?
I didn't actually. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. So it's been a successful year, I think, despite all the drama and all the weight stuff and the commission stuff and all that. You bounce back, you end the year on a high note and on a very fun note as well. That was a great finish on Saturday. Congratulations on the win, Aspen. Happy for you and happy holidays, and we'll hopefully see you back in there early next year.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on, and I appreciate it.
It is a pleasure as always. There she is, Aspen Ladd, still a top contender at 135. Of course, there was a lot of talk after the loss to GDR back in July. Should she move up to 145? She was undefeated going into that fight, 135. Loses the fight in very quick fashion, has trouble making weight. Difficult scene to watch unfold, but here she is, takes some time off, comes back, makes the weight pretty darn well, it seemed, 136, and then has a great victory over Yana Kunitskaya, a former title contender and a Invicta champ as well. So good stuff for Aspen. Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.